Mrs. Dory got stuck in the mud puddle. She's just pulling in outside. She'll be here in a second.
Should everybody give her a hand? As she
Oh, yeah.
walks in?
Everybody make sure you give her a hand when she pulls in.
Or how about just awkward silence?
Everybody just stares. I'm sorry? I don't know. It depends on if Liz comes back, and they really haven't spoken to me about it, so I don't know. I know Shelby's been trying out at the high school, so it depends on if that schedule conflicts with us. We really don't want to miss her stuff by, coaching our games.
Most of those 8th graders still play.
I think so, yeah. He's pretty much said that he wants everybody to come up and try out, so.
Absolutely.
I told everybody you got stuck in a mud puddle. It's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. Welcome. We're glad you're here.
Yep.
All right, everyone, if you all just rise and join us and our special guest in the Pledge of Allegiance. It's on you.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent job.
Welcome, everyone, to the April normal meeting of the Grand Castle School Board. Call the meeting to order. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda?
Yep, we were just going to remove item J from this meeting. We'll bring it back at a later date. There's been an adjustment.
Clear on removing item J. Okay. Moving on to recognitions.
Okay. I have the pleasure of introducing you to Wesley Overbay. He is a first grade student in Mrs. Bonnerat's room at Deer Meadow. And Wesley is a wonderful example of honesty in the classroom. He consistently tells the truth, even when it is difficult, and takes responsibility for his actions. Wesley shows integrity by admitting mistakes and working to make better choices moving forward. He is trustworthy and does the right thing, even when no one is watching. His honesty helps build a positive and respectful classroom environment, and he sets a great example for his classmates. Wesley truly embodies what it means to be the Student of the Month for honesty.
It's a whole crew. My goodness.
Good evening. I have the pleasure of introducing Miss Joanna Tincher. She was nominated by Miss Schlatter, her kindergarten teacher, for the character trait of honesty. So Joanna has made some really strong strides over the past couple of months. But what stands out the most is her commitment to telling the truth, no matter the situation, even when it would be easier not to. Joanna consistently chooses to be honest and take responsibility for her actions, and that says a lot about her character and the young lady that she's becoming. She's worked hard on our STAR behaviors this year, and her honesty has been a big part of that growth. We're really proud of her, and that is why she was selected as Ridpath's Student of the Month. Congratulations, Joanna.
outstanding.
Oh, I love it.
That's a good one.
So it's my pleasure to introduce our student of the month for April, McKinley Horn. Mrs. Wolf is her teacher, wasn't able to be here, but she did send these words. Recognizing McKinley for the honesty character trait was an easy choice. McKinley is the kind student who does the right thing without being asked and without needing recognition for it. She's honest in the small everyday moments, whether that's owning a mistake, being truthful, even when it would be easier not to be, or just being someone others can trust. What stands out about McKinley is that her honesty isn't for attention, it's simply who she is. It shows in how she treats others, how she handles challenges, and how she carries herself every single day. Because of that, she helps create a classroom where people feel respected and safe to be themselves. McKinley, you set a strong example for everyone around you. You truly deserve this recognition. They grow so much. They're like my height at this time. So I have the honor of recognizing Logan Campbell. His teacher says Logan has a great sense of humor. He is creative and funny. Logan is kind to his peers and respectful to teachers and staff. Logan shows responsibility by getting assignments turned in on time and always doing his best. Logan's a joy to have in class. He always asks how my day is going. And Logan will share a song or a dance with you to brighten your day at any time. He's always thinking of others. Whenever anyone seems to be struggling, you can always count on Logan to say, I hope you have a great day. Logan works hard in his classes, and he's shown amazing progress this year academically, and he continues to push himself to do better every single day. We are very proud of you. Thank you.
The high school would like to recognize Braylon Shepard. Braylon was nominated by Mrs. Duggan, Mrs. Berry, myself, and Mr. McNichol. And at the high school, we noticed that a lot of times high school students try to avoid if they need to be put on the spot, or if you're like, hey, did you see that happen? Of course, no one knows. But Braylon will always, even if it's something that's maybe negatively going to impact him, he will always come forward and tell us the situation. He's always advocating for his peers, and even if it's good or bad outcome, Braylon, we know, is always going to tell us the truth, and we really admire that about him. So we have Braylon Shepard.
Is that all? All right. We'll move on to public comments. Doesn't look like I have anyone on the list for public comments. All right, moving on to the approval of the consent agenda, which consists of meeting minutes, the executive session, March 11th, 2026, regular board meeting minutes of March 16th, 2026, allowance of claims, financial report, and personnel reports, part 1 and 2. Mrs. Roman.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
As usual, we're going to start with some tables for March 2026. That first table was dated $3.40. We also have retirement and taxes in that table. So the total for that 13th I'm now on F5 of the finance packet. And the second regular table, March 27th, the total for that table was $407. this on the prepaid. You've got the signature. That's 16 in the finance package. You're going to see what that total is there. That is incorrect. I do almost the entire finance packet that people have every month is over 20 minutes ago. I would run a check every single day that I've done and packet just to make sure that I got the same today. So, and what that mistake was, it's a big one. If you saw in the packet, we paid off our bus accounts, and it's substantial. Okay, I had that twice. Oops, my bad. Okay, so you don't have it in your packet, but what you're going to sign tonight, the total for this prepays for March 2026 is at $1,118,66.20. So if you take the one that's in your packet, subtract that bus fees that I added twice, you're going to know what I'm going to see. Did anyone have any questions about it?
Did not. You answered it. I was going to go right to that and pick that out too. I was right on the tip.
I admitted to it right up front. And nothing to hide here. Okay, so, and then also in March, you authorized me to do spring break. We had to have it exceptionally early. So you authorized me to do a regular second last minute for March so we could get some break. That was dated March 25th, 2026. If you go to F20 in your finance packet, you're going to see the voucher where you're going to sign the total for March 25th claims was $40,023.07. As you look through those questions,
I did not.
okay, we'll go to the bus claims. Those claims are dated today, April 27th. As you look through that list, questions?
No.
F26 in your finance packet, you're going to see the allowance voucher. You're all going to sign. The total for those claims is April 27, 2026, $643,566. And then if you're ready, we're going to go ahead and watch the report. The balance in education fund, the end of March 2026 was $461,674. We're going to go down 3 more lines to the operations fund. That's $300. The total in that fund in the March was $691.35. And then forward in the finance packet to F30. You'll see the balance in all funds is at $919,135.06. And then next in your package, you're going to have the bank to fund balance. And for us to be in balance, all of our banks should be in balance with all of our insurance funds. And you can see that in the packet.
Did not know.
Transfers. Of course, we always have the $400 to school lunch. You'll see that the regular education ops, and then you also give the authorization to move money from bank to bank, depending on the bills. Total transfer for March 2026, $727,871.87. And then we're going to go to page F34 of the finance packet. As I told you last month, we pretty much expended out on so I went ahead and that we have used that some time. So the only thing that we've got here right now is for bond 2022. Mr. Lidgen and myself have said that we're retaining that for retainage for projects. We are coming to the end of the project. So we are going to have a bit of a balance at the end of the expenditures. But Mr. Lidgen was working on some projects. But essentially, we're going to go out and then finally, you got the detailed report for GeoBond 2024. And as you can see here, we show all the expenditures, and then we're showing the balance as of March 31st, 2026. You can see that we've got $113,705. And as Mr. Gibbs spoke about, that's like projects, that type of thing. So those are like all spent on that.
Any questions? Okay, I show the correction of what, F16, correct?
On
That was out?
page- Yes.
Yeah.
And Tony's gonna have that, updated, signature page for you, and you can prepare it, sign it.
Okay.
With what's in the packet.
Outstanding. Okay, hearing no questions, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. Thank you, Ms. Roll.
If it's okay, I'd like to take a minute to recognize somebody who just happened to be just approved as a part of our personnel report, and that's our new corporation athletic director to lead Tiger Cub athletics into the future. That's Mr. John Regatius. So we're really excited about the interview process in selecting our new corporation athletic director. As you can imagine, there's a lot of interest. Greencastle is a very special place, just with the people, the talent. Certainly our facilities, and I think we had like 27 interested applicants. We conducted first round interviews with 6 candidates, narrowed it down to 3. Ultimately settled on Mr. Regatius. He has 16 years of experience as an athletic director, most recently as athletic director at Monrovia. Prior to that, 9 years as athletic director at Danville, and 6 years as a middle school AD in Brownsburg. So we're just really excited to have him work with us, work with our coaches, really build out our athletic department to where we can build upon the efforts of the past, but really looking to kind of take us into the future and enhance what we're doing and take us to just greater heights. We want to compete for sectionals, regionals, and semi-states and state championships just across the board. So we're really excited to have him come aboard July 1. And I know he's chomping the bit and probably get started a little bit earlier than that as we work to make sure summer plans are in place for all of our athletics programs. And that way we have a smooth transition from Mr. Greenland. So just like to recognize John and appreciate you being here and just looking forward to working with you.
Welcome, sir. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you, sir, personally from the board. I believe we set aside about 20 minutes, I think, for you to make a speech to the group. So, welcome. We look forward to seeing what you have to offer for us and take us into the future. Thank you, sir. Good. All right, moving on to reports. We have Ms. McPherson.
Yes, I have 2 groups from the middle school who are going to share some information about exciting things that are happening. I'm going to invite Mrs. Loudhart and our Afro National Junior Honor Society, some of those members, and what they've been doing already, and some of the plans for the future. Take it away.
Hi. So we had our first inaugural induction ceremony back in February, and it was awesome. We only chose 8th graders this year, and so we had 34 students. So what National Junior Honor Society, like the whole purpose of it, is to honor and exemplify those students who have excelled specifically in scholarship, service, leadership, character, and citizenship. We hosted a dodgeball tournament back in March that Alex is going to tell you about. And then Corbin will briefly tell you about what we've done this semester, just in different service projects.
So, the dodgeball tournament consisted of 10 teams and dozens of spectators. Along with the tournament, the students also set up a bake sale with volunteers donating sweet treats to raise additional funds. In total, the fundraiser made $2,316 for the Cantwine family.
NJHS has volunteered in several different capacities this semester. Students have picked up trash around the school, helped out with concessions. They volunteered at the Deer Meadow Mother-Son Carnival and volunteered their time at the Emerald Palace this past weekend. Next week, we are starting a fundraiser to raise funds for the Putnam County Humane Society.
other students that are part of National Junior Honor Society, we have Mae Cantonwine, McKenna Maudlin, Izzy Batten, and Felicia Humphrey as well.
Mrs. Clements and I have been talking about this, I think, for the last 2 or 3 years of wanting to get this started, so we're really excited about this opportunity for our students. So that our next group, we are inviting Mrs. Lawless up with some students. They had an exciting field trip to Europe over spring break. They got to visit Italy, so they're going to share a little bit about that experience. I think this is the first time they've had an overseas trip to school, so kind of new territory, literally for everyone.
Yes. So we wanted to thank the board first for approving us for international travel. It was really exciting and something, like Mrs. McPherson said, we had not done at middle school before. So I figured, why not start out big? So we went to Italy, and we visited Naples and Rome. We had a group of 22, 11 adults, 11 students. So it was a much better ratio because I was a little nervous going there. But overall, it was a great trip, and we wanted to just give you a brief recap of it. Next. So day one, and you'll see pretty quickly, we traveled with EF Tours. They really packed our days full with activities. So we started out in the morning visiting a local buffalo mozzarella farm. Not like our buffalo. They pretty much just look like cows with really big horns. We took a guided tour of the Naples Historic City Center, and then we toured with a local guide and saw some of their beautiful buildings and architecture, Casa Nuovo, Piazza del Plebiscito. I'm going to butcher that one. And then we saw the Naples Royal Palace, and then we participated in a pizza making class to finish out our day. That was actually some of the best pizza I think I've ever had in my entire life. Also on the Buffalo Mozzarella Farm, we were even able to bottle feed the baby calves. So that was really great. In the upper right-hand corner, you see a picture. All of that is fresh mozzarella with fresh local honey, and it was amazing. Even me as a picky kid, I loved it. So next, please. Names.
On day 2, we did a tour of the ruins of Pompeii with an expert local guide, and on the corner you can see 6, 7. Stopped in the futuristic town of Nemi on the way back to Rome, and my favorite part was seeing, like, on Pompeii, like, the art on the walls that was still there. That was pretty cool. And the numbers on the side of the building, especially.
Perfect. Next. Day 3, we took a bike tour of the Villa Borghese Gardens. Just as a side note, if you ever get a chance, ask Mrs. Clements about her experience with that bike ride. It's a fantastic story. I did not go on the bike ride. After that, we took a guided tour of Rome. We saw things like the Roman Forum and the Colosseum. The Colosseum actually, I think, was one of the most exciting for the kids. One of our kids, Dirk Deer, he's a 6th grader. He's a pretty chill guy. He doesn't seem to get excited by much. He's just this pretty even keel all the time. And he was running around taking pictures. And I was like, what's going on, Dirk? Like, I just wanted to know what's going on in his head. And he's like, I just can't take enough pictures. There's so much here to see. So it was fantastic. It was such an awesome experience. We loved the Coliseum. A lot of the kids really, really enjoyed that one. Day 4, and I wanted Michael Canute to share about that one. And then there's a group picture of all of us.
Wait, can I say something about that?
Yes.
Michael did get the soccer ball.
But we got it back. We got it back. All right, next.
So on day 4, we have like a gladiator experience, and we shot bows and trained with swords and had like exercises, and then we had a tour of the catacombs, which was by and it was just like big underground like ruins and tombs and everything. We saw the 8 posts with it. And then we went on a self-guided tour of Treasure Fountain and Piazza Nevada and the Spanish Steps.
What was interesting about walk right up and you could throw coins over your shoulder. Now they have actually roped it off and you have to pay to get in. But it wasn't too far of a throw, and we didn't have a lot of time. So we just lined kids up right along the edge, and all the kids that threw coins made it, except for one. His name is JP. He's a sixth grader. He was a really funny guy. And when I walked up to him after it, I was like, "Did you get to throw your coin in?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I felt somebody down there." But it was still amazing to see the treasure fountain. That was another big one that we did really enjoy.
So with the gladiator experience, my dad, there was like this thing where you had to like run through it, and my dad was and Paul threw Michael down. And with Treasure Fountain, there's like this thing where you throw one people back to the time of it, and so three people that time, and there's fine and all that. I really did one.
So we're hoping back. Perfect. Next one. Day 5, our final day, we actually started out with a pasta making class. That was really a lot of fun. It was actually way simpler than I ever could have imagined making pasta would be. We had a hilarious guide who was teaching us what to do. Then afterward, we took a guided tour of Vatican City. We started in the Vatican museums first. We got to see a lot of their tapestries, just countless pieces of art. And then we finished in the Sistine Chapel. That for me was probably my favorite. We finished out in St. Peter's Basilica. Some of the kids had kind of lost interest at that point when we were in the Sistine Chapel, but we were exhausted. As Maylee's favorite number is, we walked about 6 or 7 miles every single day. So by the last day, we were pretty exhausted. One thing I didn't capture in the presentation is I think we did it 2 or 3 times snack tasting at night.
And I had the top left dough.
Oh, yes, no, right. Yeah. So 2 to 3 nights when we were on the way back to our hotels, we would stop. There are all these little stores all around, kind of like gas stations here. And we picked up a bunch of different Italian snacks. And then after we did the first night, parents started grabbing stuff. So we had full-on taste testings of local snacks each night. And then actually our bus driver brought us a snack from his own hometown as well. So it was all in all a fantastic trip, fantastic food. The kids really got to see some once in a lifetime experience type thing. So I look forward to continuing GMS travel. And thank you guys so much for this.
Awesome.
My favorite snack was Smarties. They were pretty good, and
Not like our Smarties.
Not like our Smarties. They're kind of like and food together.
My favorite snack was the crispy M&Ms.
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome.
Made the shirt, Tiger Cup Collective. Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
There you go.
And the last thing I want to share is just our team just has lots of groups doing amazing things. I want to highlight our academic teams, fine arts, science, interdisciplinary, and math all qualified for state. And then on Saturday, our e-gaming team won state championships. So that was really exciting for them. I know I was talking to Mrs. Clements, Mr. Black at the middle school. All the kids are really excited to cheer them on and tell them congrats for winning the state championship. So lots of great things happening.
Very cool.
TZ won their Miss District math goal too, didn't they?
Yes, so they were the math goal for their division. Yeah, for their division.
It's promising.
Very cool. It's always awesome to hear about the cool things that our young folks are doing within the schools. So well done. Thank you for that. I am a little disappointed, though, and I have to put this out publicly, that there was an awful lot of talk about delicious snacks and pizza and pasta, and I don't think anyone up here received any of that, and that's a little disappointing. I'll remember that. Very good. All right, moving on to Mr. Givney with his report.
Yeah, so I'll be brief. Again, we want to bring in some student groups, but just like to highlight April 17th, we had the top 10% dinner, and it was just another excellent just recognition of our students and also a celebration of some of our staff members, and that always takes place over at the end of DePaul, and just a really nice event. And some really moving speeches from the kids. Just always really impressed with what they have to say. Obviously, prom was last weekend. From all accounts, by and large, everyone was safe. Everyone made good, smart decisions, and also had just a great time. So that's always encouraging anytime that takes place. And obviously, a lot of more good things continue to happen with celebration, awards, and recognitions taking place in the month of May. Can't wait to share more about those in our May meeting. Excuse me. We have Staff Appreciation Week, May 4th through 9th next week. So we choose to celebrate all employee groups together. And so we have some nice days and filled full of fun and food and snacks. So I'm sure if you stop by, you can have a snack during that week.
I like snacks.
Mr. Wilson. And then it's really hard to believe. It didn't even ring true to me today. Somebody said, we only have 4 weeks left. I'm like, what do you mean we only have 4 weeks left? I thought we had 7. Well, no, there's really 4 weeks of school left. There's just a lot of good things, fun things taking place in classrooms and really making that final push to the end of the school year and graduation, May 22nd, 7 o'clock. The culmination of just another great year at GCSC. So I just wanted to share those quick little updates.
Very good. All right. Moving on to old business. I have none listed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Excellent. New business. Looks like we have a public hearing for a third amendment to lease. Is that this paperwork I have here in front of me to read?
Script there in front of you.
Got to read it. Stand by. The next item on the agenda is for the board to hold a lease hearing in connection with the proposed project. If you're interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure you have signed the sign-in sheet, which include your name and address. After the presentation, there will be an opportunity for the public to make comments about the lease rental to be paid under the lease and appropriation of bond proceeds. At the hearing, we will ask that each person limit their comments to 3 minutes, and the topic be limited to the lease rental and appropriation of funds under consideration. The notices for this hearing were published as legally required. Pursuant to IC Code 20-47-3, before a school corporation may enter into a lease with a nonprofit building corporation, the school corporation must conduct a hearing regarding the execution of the proposed lease agreement and whether the rental to be paid to the lesser building corporation under the proposed lease is a fair and reasonable rental for the proposed involvements. We will now open the public hearing. Remember, if you'd like to speak, please sign in on the sheet, which is located up here. So if you didn't get to sign in on it, wave at me and I'll make sure you get in on that. As I mentioned earlier, we will ask that you state your name and address, limit your comments to the proposed rent to be paid under the lease, keep any comments to 3 minutes, and avoid being repetitive if possible. And I have the sign-in sheet already in front of me. Did anyone not get to sign the sheet that was placed out there? We had a couple people come in late. Speak now and forever hold your peace. Very good. So no one like to speak? If so, there we go. Thank you all who participated in that hearing. Everybody that spoke. We will now close the hearing and reopen the regular meeting. Mr. Givney, could you please summarize the resolution authorizing execution of the third amendment to lease?
Yep, as required by Indiana Code 20-47-3. After a lease hearing, the school board must approve the third amendment to lease and authorize the school board officers to execute such third amendment to lease. This third amendment to lease is the agreement whereby the school corporation will levy the required property tax to pay the lease payments throughout the life of the bond issue. The lease payments will be paid to the building corporation and used to pay the bondholders to repay the proposed bonds.
Okay. Could I get a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing execution of the third amendment to lease?
Motion.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Do we have any discussion on the matter? Hearing no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion will carry. Mr. Givney, could you please summarize the resolution of signing construction bids and contracts once we receive those?
The next resolution is a resolution assigning construction bids, contracts to the building corporation once received. At the bond closing, the building corporation will own facilities where some of the renovation work will be completed. The building corporation will also be the issuer of the bonds. As a result, certain contracts may need to be with the building corporation because the building corporation will hold the money to pay the contractors. The school corporation receives the bids and or contracts and awards the bids and or contracts under state law, but then retains the right to assign those bids and or contracts to the building corporation for payment at the discretion of the board.
Okay, can I get a motion to adopt the resolution assigning bids and contracts?
So moved.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion on the matter? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. Mr. Gibney, could you please summarize the resolution authorizing the third supplement to master continuing disclosure undertaking and issuance of said bonds?
Yeah, this resolution satisfies the Securities and Exchange Commission requirement that a school corporation enter into a continuing disclosure undertaking agreement if it issues bonds to public investors. The agreement requires that the school corporation agree to timely provide certain financial information and provide notice of certain material events if and when they occur.
Okay. Could I have a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the third supplement to master continuing disclosure undertaking and issuance of bonds?
Motion.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion will carry as well. That is the end of our bond-related resolutions. A mouthful. Whew. Okay. We have an approval request for to adopt a resolution. We already did all that, right?
Yep.
That's that one.
B, C, and D.
B, C, and D. That's a lot to read. There we go. Approval request for Deer Meadow primary roof bid.
Yep. So we sought out bids for the Deer Meadow roof replacement project, and we received one bid from B&L Sheet Metal and Roofing for a total cost of $864,000. We've met with them for a pre-award meeting. If given a notice to proceed, if the board approves this proposal, they plan to mobilize on or around mid-July. The nice thing with this is kind of by the end of the day today, pretty much negotiated a settlement with a roofing manufacturer and insurance carrier that will completely cover the replacement cost of this roof and help us complete some minor repairs to the interior for the minor interior damage that was a result of the leak. So really excited about that. So being able to make that improvement once and for all at no cost to the district, it would be my recommendation to move forward.
Okay. And you said July is approximately when it was
Mid-July, yes, and it'll work into the fall. They'll start early mornings, the way I understand it. They'll try to get their noisy work done first thing in the morning. They're going to complete it in sections. The noisiest work, and I don't think it'll be so intrusive, is essentially when they screw in the I don't know the correct terminology, screw down the backer boarding, and then in the afternoon or early mid-morning, that's when they'll roll out the membrane and adhere that. And so they'll kind of do it in sections, so that way nothing's exposed to the elements.
Any displacement for kids or classrooms or anything?
Nope, none of that.
Looks like you'll work around testing days.
Yeah, yep, they've been good about that. If we have because we have some fall testing now, we have to work around that. But again, I don't necessarily expect there'll be much of an issue. It's not like your home where they're nailing into the plywood and it's very extremely noisy. There's some layers of separation and sealing and things of that nature, between the roof and classroom. So,
And when do they anticipate to finish?
Sometime in the fall. Yeah, I think it might have been like 120 days. I think
it says here 120.
December 31st. Yeah. So goal is to have it finished in the fall, and in essence, maybe even finish a little bit early. I think the most difficult thing I have to do at this point is select the color. Purple. So it won't be a custom color, but
And we're gonna
But
have
we
the
will,
cartoon tiger kitty up there too, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I thought so.
Will there be like fencing around the staging area?
So as far
or-
as that, the staging, that's probably be pallets of material. So I don't know that they'll necessarily be fencing around the materials itself. They'll kind of bring it in phases, but there will be separation of contractor and staff and kids.
That's
'Cause
where
they don't want to intermix with us as much as we don't want to intermix with them.
we also utilize that for parking area for the youth football league.
Any other questions? Okay. Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the matter? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry.
And I will issue that notice to proceed in the morning.
Very good.
It's
Thank,
exciting.
thank you for all the hard work on that too. And it's refreshing to hear that we're able to do that with little to no cost. So,
Yeah, it's
I
been
know
a long.
you really kind of you had a lot of irritable calls and discussions with people. So thank you for going that extra mile and getting that done.
I'll be sure to get with the youth board secretary to make sure we put that out.
Yes.
So, Ms. Knoll, if you could make sure we annotate that.
And when does that season officially start?
It'll be in the beginning of July. Good thing she's dual hatted for that role.
Yep. So have to work together on that.
The interior repairs, will that be before school?
I would
starts
have
or
that during the summer. That would be my goal. And it's really minor.
Minor.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent. All right, moving on. We have an approval request for Everwise rate agreement with Greencastle School Corporation.
Yeah, so kind of as is customary this time of year, kind of shop some of our reserve accounts to see who can give us the best interest rate. And I'll be honest, the past few years, the interest rate has been very good to Greencastle, and this helped us overcome just some of the shortfalls in revenue. And so Everwise provided the strongest proposal once again, and settled on an agreement of 3.8% for 18 months. Will lock us into that rate. We know that all good things must come to an end, and we know that that rate is slowly continuing to drop and won't be as lucrative. We have been at 4.55% for the last 12 months. So it helps us by keeping some of those reserve funds in those accounts. We are rewarded with more interest. So it would be my recommendation that we enter into another agreement with Everwise.
Yeah. Any questions? Hearing no questions, can I get a motion?
So moved.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion on the matter? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. All right, we have a request for a summer bus cleaning.
Catching up to the stuff as well. So just a second. This is another thing that just kind of comes this time of year. Is obviously we know that we put our buses to good use during the school year, and we've got to get them cleaned and prepared for the following school year ahead of state inspections. And so I actually worked with Mr. Page and Candace. We still want to make sure that our buses are spick and span and ready to pass inspection. So they've actually come with a proposal to do that, but it asked them to do so with some cost saving efforts in mind. So they've made some reductions into what they've asked for in the past, and we have a good plan in place to where we can make sure that again our buses are completely ready for state inspection with just a little bit lower cost this school year. And so that proposal was included in your packet. And I would recommend that the board allow us to begin to put this plan in place for the summer.
Any questions? Hearing no questions, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. All right, we have a request for the 2026 SFSP.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, federal government state government like to make adjustments to things, and there's some new restrictions this year that really kind of made things difficult to satisfy all of our community partners. So we do have plans to offer congregate meal service as an open site at TZ while summer school takes place. And then also a non-congregate meal service open site at Roban Park, where it's the Spark program. Will take place from June 8th to July 15th, Monday to Wednesday, 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. Of course, everything is pending IDOE approval. The one program we were not able to accommodate just due to guidelines and restrictions was the YMCA program that they offer on site at the YMCA. We did our best to try and find some different solutions. I know Becky and Kelly and Shelly and Mandy worked on that. But that's the one group that we weren't able to accommodate. But I feel like we have a good program here that will continue to serve our community the best we can, and would like to begin your approval for this so we can begin to advertise and put the word out.
Any questions? That's a good program. I appreciate that. Hearing no questions, I will entertain a motion.
Motion.
I have two motions. All right, I have a motion and a second. There we go. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion will carry. It's a good program. Thank you for doing that, Mr. Gibney. Appreciate that. All right, we have a request for the 2026-27 chart wheels renewal.
Yep. So as customary, again, this is an annual renewal. This will be this is year 4 of 4 allowable renewable years. So we'll go through a slightly different process next year. But actually, Chartwells had proposed a 4% increase. I asked them to meet me in the middle, and they are proposing a 2% increase, and those costs are listed in the information in your board packet. They've been good partners with us and have helped us to continue to move our food service program forwards.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing no questions, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion will carry. All right, it looks like we have some donations on hand. Looks like we have Putnam County Community Foundation to the high school band endowment for $937. Jeff and Denise Sigworth to the high school athletic department for $1,100. And Putnam County Community Foundation Sherry Walton Holly endowment to Deer Meadow for $1,507. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
The motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All right. The motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you to all those donors. All right, we have the first reading for job descriptions for the athletic department.
Yep, so no action necessary this month. I've already shared these with you. This is with the restructuring of our athletic department, those positions, just kind of making black and white the duties and responsibilities. And I will bring these to you for a second reading and approval at our next meeting.
Okay. All right, moving on to first reading for the 26-27 building handbooks.
Again, no action being taken this month. It's just for first reading. We always bring them to you in April, and then we bring them back for second reading and an adoption in May. Changes have been highlighted for each of the schools. As you can imagine, it might include updates for the new state law with cell phones in classrooms and things of that nature.
Okay. Very good. Do we have any other business before the board?
I do not have it.
Anyone? Okay. Very
Well,
good.
I would like to do a shout out to the high school band for a wonderful concert on Friday evening. But they also came back from contest with straight golds. So
That they did.
kudos to the band program. very happy to see that. Sorry.
Your phone agrees as well.
So, Brandon Phillips works in the same building.
We do have a very strong band program here,
That was
band and
not
choir, and that's very awesome.
Well, no, I read it.
What was he saying about the phone policy?
Resignation. I mean, he was at TZ when
Yeah. Clearly, we don't have a phone policy for the board.
Yeah, no, like
You're
he
right.
was at Northwest.
I'm just glad it was yours and not mine.
Before it was TZ, but he was there when I was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's so neat.
Karen did too. We have a couple
We have
long
long
time
time.
retirees who came.
Yeah. Just we will we'll invite our retirees back and honor them at our June meeting. So, yeah, have some dedicated.
Yeah, no, I
staff
read that
members for sure.
38 years in the same building.
And when I walk past Mr. Phillips' room, he teaches today. I'm sure how he taught me. Wow, like it's amazing. He's that energized and eager and ready to go. The kids are like happy.
That's awesome. All right. Anything else from the board before we proceed to close?
Nope.
All right. Hearing nothing, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
A motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Does anyone want to discuss that? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to that? Outstanding. That motion will carry. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Sure, do you have a few minutes to stick around? We'd like